if you don't offer to split, they assume that you're a gold digger.
So basically, Brian here is asking these women who should pay on the first date, and I'm finding some shocking answers here.
The men are assuming if the woman doesn't offer to split.
Yeah.
That's been your experience?
Yes.
I don't know if guys are. I think it's nice for a woman to offer to split, but I think women should pay for men. Actually, no, I'm kidding.
It's as if he said something so absurd that nobody could accept at the time. But we'll get back to this point a bit later. But I think women should pay. I think women should pay.
Never.
No, you would no.
If we're in a relationship, sure, like you might get the tickets, you'll get popcorn, but no.
Did this chick just say never? Did she just say never? So I remember this chick. I think she seems to be a feminist. So from the previous clips, I've seen this woman, she spoke, and the interactions she had with Brian and the whole panel, and she also, I think, specifically mentioned that you shouldn't hurt feelings, right? Other people's feelings, when you are telling, well, actually the truth, right? There was this one clip about an overweighted friend of hers, right, that was also on a panel, and yeah, she was trying to defend her.
I don't want to spend my time with somebody who's ignorant or who doesn't agree with me. Then that's on them. I respect your opinion, but you know what? It's not worth my time.
That's personal responsibility that us conservatives love.
Honestly, what's funny?
Yeah, honestly, no, you guys are being really
you're being rude. I'm talking about a big situation.
And you talk about side convers and sidebars when you're laughing at her the whole time. It's really fucking rude.
No, let's talk about it. We're gonna have to
it's really
I'm genuinely, rude. I'm not.
No, I know. Hey, listen.
I'm not saying this to be confrontational, but I'm all for people having opinions and fully respecting them. But I'm not going to deal with the side laughing because it's not okay.
It's really rude. It's not professional.
Because I'm 100% open to hearing your point of view on things.
No,
that's totally fair.
We
were not laughing at you.
Man of God. I don't think a man of God would conduct himself this way. I'm sorry. There's certain ways to show face. If you want to go laugh about it in your private doors.
Don't project onto me what you think a man of God would do. I just want to say for the record, I respect.
Okay, so she seems to be a feminist, and she carries this egalitarian view of relationships. So that's great. That's absolutely great. However, when it comes to the first date, who should pay for the first date, the man or the woman? She's like, the man should pay. Okay, we'll continue with this.
Maybe it's your birthday.
By the way, I was being a bit. Women should not pay for the guy, but I think paying for your own check, I think is the go-to move. But you disagree, so why is that?
Pay my own check?
Yeah, so you go on a date, let's say you go for dinner.
And we split checks.
Yeah, whatever, you get wings and he gets a hamburger, he pays for the burger, you pay for the wings.
That will never, either it's going to be, if we're in a relationship, if it's the first date, I told you I'm not paying for a first date.
Okay, so this is where the hypocrisy comes in. She's apparently an egalitarian, in relationships, which I don't think it's a bad thing. However, when she's apparently supporting feminism agenda and she's apparently an egalitarian, in relationships, but when it comes to first dates, right, it's the man that pays. So it's apparently a double standard here. And why, when she believes that men and women are equal, but when it comes to the first date, somehow it becomes back to traditional. Like the man needs to take up the traditional role and he needs to pay for the first date, and she's not even willing to split. And which I think splitting is a very reasonable thing to do. And well, apparently this woman doesn't think so. Why is it okay for women to be feminists whenever they want? Or I should say, why is it okay for them to, benefit things when it benefits them? Right? They can take positions, pick roles when it benefits them. But when it comes down to the checks, when it comes to who's paying, they return back to their traditional role, and now they're demanding the man to pay. And I don't get this. Like, why do they get to pick and choose? And they sort of always, like, back to a position, right, where it benefits them. And when it becomes hard or difficult or not beneficial to them, and they suddenly just change positions and start to say, oh, it's your job, it's your masculine duty, it's your traditional duty to pay the tab, right? And this is hypocrisy.
But if we're in a relationship,
even if you
then
ask, which apparently you've never done.
If I ask for what? To split the check?
No, if you ask the guy or the girl out on the date, which apparently you've never done.
Yeah, if I ask them, then sure. But
you
I don't
Sure.
see that happening.
Okay, so whoever should pay is what
Yes.
It's insincere to say that whoever asks should pay, because these women, and not just these women, like, everybody knows that 90% of the time it is the man who asks, it is the man who initiates, it is the man who approaches. So rarely is there an occasion where a woman would just reach out or asks the guy out, and you know what I mean? So when she says whoever asks should pay, it's simply insincere, to say something like this. And like, she's coping, she's disguising the fact that like, she's trying to save face. She's trying to save face that, okay, I believe that men should pay the date, and you know what? In order for me to not sound too selfish or too materialistic, I might as well just say, okay, there's a prerequisite to whoever should pay on the first date. It should be the fact that, okay, whoever asks should pay, but like, well knowingly, it is the man who initiates, it is the man who asks. Most of the time, 90% of the time, it's the guy that asks women out, ask the woman out, and oh man, she's being very disingenuous.
But like, if me, my boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, we just want to go out and get some ice cream, whatever. Yeah, maybe I'll pay for the ice cream. No
maybe
problem.
you'll pay.
Okay, maybe. And Brian here actually, he actually reconfirmed, like that. Okay, she used the word maybe. So I think the underlying message is that she still pretty much believes that the man, even though she's going out with a guy and her girlfriends, the guy probably should still, need to be responsible for the expenses on the trip. And wow, it's just
But like, that's not a problem for me. But like, a sit down, like it's our anniversary or something. No, I'm not paying for that.
Anniversary, the guy should pay.
there's that firm nod. So this woman, she fundamentally believes that anniversaries are for the man. The expenses and everything should be paid by the man, from the man, and for the woman. And anniversaries are reserved for the woman, actually. It is not for the duel. It is not for the companionship between the two people. It is not for the relationship, not for the foundation, right? The cooperation, the thing that the two people have built together. But anniversaries are for what? For her only. It is designed for the woman. It is reserved for the woman. It is paid by the man, and in a way to try to satisfy. Oh my God, I don't get where these entitlements come from. I don't know, how are they so entitled? Like, where does the entitlement even come from? Like, she firmly nodded that men should just pay for the anniversaries, because why not, right? You're the sucker. You should just pay for anniversaries. So in her frame, I believe, like, fundamentally, I believe she believes that when two people are in a relationship, the man should wholly serve the woman's purpose. Like he should completely serve the woman for her goals, her purposes, like her desires in life. So this is the reason why people are single, man. This is the reason why people are single. And for chicks like her, it's just, I just can't sense that, like I can sense that, like, the deep down, fundamental level, the underground feeling, that she believes.
What about Valentine's Day? What do you expect on Valentine's Day?
I always give a gift on Valentine's Day.
What's the gift?
It depends on the person. I don't know.
Okay. Is it an actual gift, or is it just...
No, but an actual gift.
Okay.
Yeah.
Some girls are going to be like, I'm going to fuck you on Valentine's Day. I'm
Yeah,
like,
that's your
okay.
gift. No.
That's your gift? Okay.
No, I remember
Okay.
like last time my ex, I think I got him like 2 new PlayStation controllers or something, and
Okay.
like some V-Bucks. I don't even know what the hell they were doing back then.
V-Bucks.
Yeah.
Okay.
PlayStation controllers. I'm just going to assume. Okay, so the podcast was uploaded in 2022. So at that time, PS5 was out. But I'm going to assume that the PlayStation controller she bought for her, then boyfriend, was actually the DualShock 4. Because in 2022, PS5 was still extremely difficult to procure one. The stocks almost always just sold out. And I had personal experience because I was in LA in 2021, and it was extremely difficult to get a PS5, in like the first 3 years of the PS5 release date. So I'm just going to assume she bought the DualShock 4, and we can see like how much DualShock 4 costs. The original DualShock 4 costs $60 USD, per item. So she bought 2 of them, which was $120 at the time, for her boyfriend. Honestly, like DualShock 4, $60 to, it's not a lot of money. $120 as a gift to your boyfriend, it's not a lot. It's honestly not a lot. And I believe that her boyfriend's expenses, like outweighed her gifts, like way much, like way much, because like since for this woman, like it seems that going out to dates is usually the man who pays for the expenses. So in that case, I would assume that her boyfriend has already spent maybe hundreds of dollars on her, maybe $1,000, $800, I don't know. It's 100% like way more than the $120 that she spent on 2 PlayStation DualShock 4 controllers. It's nothing. It's nothing. It's kind of comical. It's nothing. So, even if she bought the PS5, which the DualSense controllers, it was still pretty much like nothing. The PS5 DualSense controller was, or still is, $15 more expensive than the DualShock 4. So it's $75 per item. So when you get, or per pair, so when you get 2 of them, it would be 75. That is $150. For 2 DualSense controllers. It's still like amounts to pretty much nothing if you compare to the expenses, right? The expense the boyfriend has spent on her. So yeah, like I think that's pretty much it, man. Like also for V-Bucks, I actually had to research this. Like, what the hell is V-Bucks? So V-Bucks is the Fortnite video game currency. So basically, she bought some Fortnite video game currencies for her damn boyfriend. Which was, I don't know how much that was. Maybe $20, $30. So That was it, man. Like that was it. So, dude, these women they have zero concept of finance. They have zero concept of finance.
That tells you how my last relationship went.
Okay, so he played video games. Wow, there's a lot of stuff I want to touch on there. So, but the guy should pay. Let's go around the table on this. Who should pay?
My biggest gripe with this woman is still the fact that she's apparently egalitarian in, like that she holds this egalitarian view of ideally what a relationship should be. However, in practicality and in actuality, the man pays. The man takes care of the expenses. The man pays for the first date. Problem with this is just like it's hypocritical. It's hypocritical to ask the relationship to be equal. At the same time, the guy needs to pay for the first date. Like we're debating about who should pay on the first date, right? And it's an interesting discussion. But if you believe that men and women are equal, then I think splitting the check, right? Splitting the check, going Dutch on the first date is totally reasonable, right? For both parties. I mean, nowadays in the modern age, women can earn their own money. They can own their own properties. They can buy stocks, sell stocks, buy houses, sell houses. Women can do pretty much the same things that men can do. There is practically no difference, but like legally between a man and a woman. And frankly speaking, like in the West today, in the U.S., like women actually take more legal favors than men do. Especially when it comes to the marriage. Right, when it comes to marriage courts, and so my point is, like I'm personally also like a person that's more or less like egalitarian, in relationships. But my idea is that okay, so if men and women are equal, then aren't you supposed to split on the first date? Like, you know what I mean? Like I personally don't mind paying on the first date, but I don't like the idea that these women they kind of take it for granted. That's what I don't like. I don't like people who take my kindness for granted. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. So she apparently has this egalitarian ideal for a relationship, and that men and women should be equal. Then she goes on to say that, okay, paying for the first date, the guy should just pay for the first date because he just needs to. And it honestly sounds disingenuous, and it sounds like completely entitlement, and it sounds like it comes out of nowhere that we should just abide by their wishes and do what they desire. It doesn't make any sense, honestly. It does not make any sense. Like, relationships is a thing, like it's a cooperation, it's a companionship, it's a partnership, right? Partnership, maybe not partnership, more some people would call it a partnership, and I don't think that's like necessarily wrong, but companionship, cooperation, a team, right? It is based on two people. So when you are placing so much pressure on the guy, then you cannot ask the relationship to be equal. It does not make any sense, right? You know what I mean? It's like if the guy takes financial burden and he also takes risks in the relationships, then he should have more power in the relationship. But nowadays, it's the complete opposite. So the guy takes not only the financial burden, the risks of the relationship, but the helm is actually steered by the woman. The woman calls the shots, and the relationship has to serve her. It becomes like a completely like a female-centered, or another word which would be like gynocentric, right? A female-centered relationship that just revolves around the woman. If it does not serve the woman, thus relationship cannot be established, which is honestly pretty bullshit in my opinion.